Hello and good morning, good afternoon, everyone, wherever you are. Thank you so much for attending our DevTalk today on VisibilityIQ, APIs, Foresight. We are going to just do some quick housekeeping rules here for everybody and give you a little introduction to the Zebra developer community. Awesome, thanks so much. This is our Zebra developer portal. If you are not already part of our developer community, it is free to join. We welcome all. If you go to developer.zebra.com, you can join for free and of course see any type of information with regards to our news, our events, blogs, updates, SDK updates, API updates, any type of new releases. Please go to the developer portal for all of that information. Next slide, please. There we go. And I just wanted to give you a quick update on some of our upcoming events. For our for our August 24th talk, it's on Wednesday, August 24th, going over to the 25th, depending on your time zone, from 8 to 1 p.m. This is our Zebra DevTalks Community Day. It's all things RFID for developers. We're going to walk through some examples on how to create applications, learn about our IoT connector, and a variety of other tools that we have available for the developer community. You can get that information off our developer portal where you'll see it there, and we'll also be sending out reminders through our DevBuzz newsletter. If you're not already subscribed, please do so by emailing us at developer@zebra.com, and I'll make sure I add you to the list. We also have our DevTalk in September on mobile dimensioning. More information will be forthcoming on that as well. And just a quick update on house rules here for today's talk. We have our entire VisibilityIQ team presenting today. We'll be flipping through a couple of different presenters, but you'll be able to see everything up on your screen. For any questions that you might have, we encourage you to post those in our Q&A box under questions. We are going to wait till the end of the presentation to post those questions and respond to them. James Swinton Bland is in the house and online here. He's the head of our DevRel community, our DevRel leader, and he'll be posing those questions to the appropriate parties on our VisibilityIQ team. Next slide, please. So with that, I'm going to turn over to Sharon Lee.
Thank you. Couldn't say anything. Happy Wednesday, everyone. Hope you're having a great day. I'm calling not too far from Chicago, which makes it a morning for me. I'm a couple cups of coffee in. I'm so excited to talk VIQ and APIs, and I hope you are as well. A quick introduction before we start, so you know the cast of characters today. My name is Sharon Lee, and I'm the product manager for VIQ Foresight. I've been with Zebra for just over 5 months, so bear with this little baby zebra as I navigate this new but friendly jungle. Along with me, we have Sujata Das, product owner of VIQ, as well as Mukesh, our solutions architect. They will both introduce themselves to you properly when they start their segments. The topic of today's discussion is our new suite of device health reports, which we are launching with application health, followed by battery health. Let's quickly go over today's agenda. We launched VIQ APIs in 2020, so I'm not going to go into too many details on our offering, but for the benefit of first-time attendees, we will kick off with a quick overview of VIQ, followed by what we have on the market today when it comes to APIs. Following that, Sujata will be discussing the business overview of our device health reports, so specifically the application health and battery health. Mukesh will then cover the technical overview of the same reports with an API focus. As with all DevTalk sessions, we will end with a 15-minute Q&A. Now, on to the first portion of the presentation, VIQ Foresight. What is VIQ Foresight? The name speaks for itself, gives you visibility, intelligence, and foresight to your fleet. I like to tell my husband whenever he says, "I told you so," that it's unbelievable that his hindsight is always so accurate. All kidding aside, VIQ focuses on foresight, giving you the information so you can course correct proactively and not deal with the "I told you so's" like I do. To allow you to see a more centralized view of how your fleet is doing, this information includes inventory, health, and location. So you're always in the know. So how does that happen? We do this by unifying data sources, aggregating data points from devices, EMM, MDM, services, then layering in our data science intelligence. Finally, throwing in a visualization for our users. For the developers on this call, you can access this data via our UI or directly from our APIs. Lastly, all the data is great. We love that. But the question comes, what do I need to do? The last prong to deliver actionable recommendations and insights to help you make daily operational and even strategic decisions. So the intersection of the above gives you VIQ, and once again, visibility, intelligence, and proactive actions. No more I told you so. So we do operate an API first mentality. All reports that are on our UI are powered by our suite of APIs that you may already have access to. We have 100% parity between our UI and APIs. What you see on this slide are our live APIs that are available today. For ease, each of these columns correspond to report category in our UI navigation. In addition, the icons to the right of each API indicates the supported devices, whether it's mobile computers only, Link-OS printers, or both. If you would like to leverage our existing APIs for your business, please reach out to your account manager. If you do not know who that is, drop me an email. I'll be sure to locate one for you. Finally, on to the topic we're here to discuss, our new suite of device health reports. For that, I'm turning over to Sujata. Sujata, on to you.
Thank you, Sharon. Quick introduction, this is Sujata. I'm currently located in Bangalore, India. I work as a senior product manager and I'm the product owner of VisibilityIQ Device Health. Next slide, please. Device Health is one of the upcoming products of Zebra VisibilityIQ. The first release will be in the month of August and we are all excited about it. The release will include features and public APIs. The way Device Health is designed, you will be able to take lots of action from the given insight. We analyze our users' statistical data and run advanced machine learning algorithms in the backend. Then come up with a threshold for each customer. When any deviation happens which is higher than normal, based on the threshold we understand is really higher than normal or not, we show the effective data information to our customer. Why it happened, which is nothing but our provided insight. What is the recommendation and how it has to be fixed, or what action needs to be taken by our customer. Next slide, please. Okay. So currently application issues are the critical issues that reduce worker productivity and availability. The goal of application health is to address those application issues. We will identify all missing business application and all installed non-business application via machine learning algorithm for each devices and list down them. We would also suggest the compatible application version for all mobile computer models. We would be able to detect all application with high crash rates and any application consuming more memory, application with higher battery discharge rate, etc. With this product, we would be working as partner with our customer to increase device uptime and worker productivity while preventing device failure. With our insight also, we would be able to let our customer know the current state of devices, and with our recommended action, they would be able to know which action needs to be taken for the devices. Recommended action will also reduce the count of no fault found repairs. Next slide, please. This is the application health UI, and when you click on the caret arrow, you will be able to dive into the details of those application and impacted devices and what the insight and recommendations are. Also, we are providing feature that user can export the data in both PDF and Excel format. Next slide, please. Then this slide is about the application not responding tile, which has 3 views of the report. The design is made in such a way that user can get an idea of the application which have higher ANR rate and how many devices are impacted by these applications and how these devices are impacted our customer sites. And from when user click on the caret arrow, they can navigate to the details of the report. This slide talks about the upcoming feature of our device health. So performance health and memory consumptions are the next set of deliverables from us, which will include another set of public APIs along with the functionality. Next slide, please. The goal of battery health is to proactively identify and replace batteries before they fail, and also identify business process or any issues with users charging and swapping of batteries. With battery health, we are solving the another customer pain point, which is like we will be increasing the device uptime, worker productivity, and preventing battery failure, and it will definitely reduce the battery no fault found repair count. Next slide, please. Yeah, with our insight, our customer would be able to know the battery remaining useful life, discharge rate when it differs from normal based on our setup threshold, and out of contact batteries. Based on the insight, the user would be able to take action on the battery replacement, and they can definitely investigate and they can solve the problem of the batteries, and definitely will be partnering them. Next slide, please. This is the Viq Ui for battery health. We are running different set of machine learning algorithm in the backend to identify batteries charging or discharging issues and how these battery issues are impacting the battery uses. When user clicks on the caret arrow, they will be able to dive into the details of those batteries and impacted devices. And also in the next level screen, we'll be showing what is the insight and what are the recommendations are. So based on the insight and recommendation, user will be able to take the necessary action which will prevent the failure of their business. In this feature also, we are providing the export feature that the user can download the report based like which they want in PDF or Excel. Next slide, please. The technical slides will be covered by our technical slides will be covered by our technical architect Mukesh. Over to you, Mukesh. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Sharon. Thanks a lot for showing all the UI related features which we are releasing as part of the device health suite. And just to remind you guys, all of those will be available as part of APIs. And I'll quickly introduce myself. So myself, Mukesh Chaudhary, I'm part of the architect team based out in Bangalore. And I'll be taking you through the technical overview, and then we'll also see a demo around how we can use these APIs as a in Power BI. Yep. So on to next slide, Sharon. So yeah, this is the entire list of all the VisibilityIQ APIs which we are releasing as part of the device health suite. There will be APIs related to device health, battery health, performance health, and there will be a phase 2 as well coming, which will be based on new features which we are launching. So in this slide, you can see, right, we have provided the timelines of when each feature will be releasing and when these APIs will be available. As seen on the initial slides, we have icons for which particular device these APIs would be applicable. So these are, since these are all related to device and we are looking at batteries, applications running on the device and things like Bluetooth, OS version. So these will be limited to mobile computers only. And we'll be releasing a whole bunch of features which will help in maintaining a good application health inventory, and in that will further help us help the customers maintaining a very good device health as well. And as mentioned in one of the previous slides, application health is the number 2 problem in which we have seen the customers bringing up quite often in our discussions. And our aim with these APIs is to answer those questions, and as our goal is, right, we try to focus on foresight and allow us to provide proactive actions and help the users make decisions. So all of these APIs and their results and the data which we are providing with these APIs will be targeting to that goal. We are using a whole bunch of machine learning algorithms in these. There are data crunching happening at scale, and the output is being provided as part of APIs. So I'll quickly go through each of these sections. Just giving a high-level overview of what all things will be covering. So as part of device health, you can see we will be releasing application versions, extra applications if there are any in a particular customer's environment, if there are missing applications in a customer's environment, missing business applications to be specific. There we'll also try to flag if there are applications with a high amount of ANRs. And with battery, we already have RUL type of algorithm as part of the VIQ report and as part of the APIs. We will add some more functionality on top of it, and we'll provide how and when action needs to be taken. So when to replace a battery, and if there are any issues with your charging. So those are some things which we are targeting as part of the battery health. And then performance health will be basically looking at all the features or functionalities which are provided for a device. So we, as part of our devices, right, we have scanners, Bluetooth, and all the physical and the hardware and the software related features. We are trying to get a metric for the items which we are able to find and provide a metric for those, and that will be our feature for the performance health. And as part of phase two, we are also working on the application side, and we are trying to find out how much RAM or memory each application will consume, and trying to analyze the impact of that, and try to build some recommendations on top of it. So that is part of the phase two. So can we please go to the next slide? Yeah, on this slide, I'll quickly show, and also on the consecutive slides, I'll show some examples of each API related to device health, some useful metrics which we will be able to get from these APIs, and what business or what action can be taken from these APIs. So first report here is the application versions. In this report, there is an application analytics report already there in the system, but what we are doing special with it. So in this report, what we are trying to do is we are trying to use some machine learning algorithms and find out which is the most common version in your current inventory. We try to look at site level, we try to look at model level, and find out what is the most used version at a particular site. And then we compare every application with that common version and find out that if you have a device which has that application, what version the application is in, and how far, is it lower than the common version, higher than the common version. And then on the UI, you'll see some recommendations, but on the API, you'll get the data that, okay, what is the current version and what is the common version. And there will be summary metrics. So you'll see how much total devices are impacted by that, and we'll also have functionality to further drill and find out if what will be the specific serial numbers and what will be the application names on those serial numbers which are getting impacted by that. So this is all around all about the application versions. Can you please go to the next slide? So as part of the application health and the device health, we are also launching these two set of APIs and reports. So these are for extra applications and missing applications. So by extra applications, what I mean is that we have seen historically in our devices that there are scenarios where customers have apps which may not really be useful for their business usages. It could be a game, it could be a common utility which may not really help the business. So we are flagging all of those. There's a machine learning algorithm which will flag which are the extra applications. So we look at bunch of data, we look at categories from the Google Play Store, all the applications which we have seen, how much usage is there for each application, and try to flag whether it's a business or a non-business. And extra applications will be specific for those applications which are non-business usages which our algorithm has detected. So we'll try to flag if there is any extra app running on the device. And as before the previous report, we will show how many devices have seen that app, what were the serial numbers of those, what is the version of the app, what model, what site it is. So this is all about extra applications. There's also one more feature which is like quite the opposite of extra applications, which is the missing applications. So on missing applications, the idea is that let's say you have a customer who has a set of business apps which are used for that site, and these are all used across the same product family. We will, based on their usages and the algorithm, machine learning algorithm for classifying a business or a non-business app, we will try to find out which one is the business app, and will flag if any device running on that site has that business app missing. And similar to the previous one, we'll show which are the devices impacted, what is the version, the category, and how many devices are impacted on that site. So that is all about missing applications. Yeah, can we go to the next slide, please? Yeah, so this is one more interesting report. So currently as well, we have a report for ANRs, but it is more around what is the trend of the ANRs. So what we have done here is that, and just to reiterate that we are trying to make customers take proactive actions and proactive decisions. So this falls into those lines and our goal. So here what we are trying to do is differently than the existing report is we have created a machine learning algorithm which will it's like an anomaly detection algorithm. We will look at all the usages for that device, for that application on a given site, and find out what is the ANR threshold. So it is highly possible that there could be some number of ANRs which can happen on a regular basis, which may be normal, but we need to know, and we need to know when to take a decision. So what we are doing is we are providing a threshold. So threshold is the outcome of the ML algorithm, and here we are trying to say when the number of ANRs is not normal, and whenever it is exceeding your threshold, we'll try to flag those and highlight those when when the action needs to be taken. So even here, we will be providing it for the business apps. We'll show it for all the devices, their serial numbers, the versions, how many ANRs were received, what was the threshold detected based on the machine learning algorithm, what is the deviation. Deviation is just the difference between the count and the threshold, and which model and which site are affected by it. So in the next slide, I'll be showing a demo regarding one of the application usages report which is existing there in the system. And it will be based on a Power BI demo so that it can be replicated in your environment as well. I'll be using some API keys, but they are really non-functional with very limited accesses to it. So it may not, so just as a best practice, if you see it, it may not really be helpful for you, and sharing APIs is not a good thing. That is only done as part of the demo. So to show as part of the functionality. So yeah, can we please go to the demo? So in this demo, we'll look at the process of connecting Power BI to the VisibilityIQ APIs and see how we can easily create a report from these APIs. So this is how OMT report in Power BI will look like. So always the first step would be to get data. To get data, you can click on Get Data, and after that, you can click on the web option of it. We'll click on the Advanced section because we also have to specify the header parameters along with the URLs and the API keys which are required for connecting to our APIs. I've already pre-filled this information, and in this particular demo, we'll be looking at the usages API endpoint, and we'll see how the application data for this particular customer looks like. So this is the API key, this is the company name, and this is the partner name. For this demo, we are looking at a demo company which has a partner called Partner Demo. And these three parameters will be the mandatory parameters in most of our reports, and you'll have to make sure that you specify all three of them. For this specific report, we also have to specify the time period, and this will basically mean that we want to look at the application usages between this specific time period. So once all of these is specified, what we just have to do is click on OK. So we are seeing a status 200, which basically means that we have successfully got some response, but it is not in a structured format. To bring it into structure, we'll have to extract from the data element. So this is the data element of our APIs, and it is coming as a list. So we'll click on list. So what it has done now is that expanded the list, and there are 19 records in it.
Now we still have to do some processing. So what we have to do now is convert this list into a table. And if you click on to table, it will give you some options. Just keep them as default, then click on OK. So what has now happened is that the list got converted into a column, but it is still coming as a record. So this record will be like a JSON structure, which will have the key value pair for all the columns, and we still have to expand it. So to expand it, what we can do is we can click on this small icon here. And as you can see, once that we clicked on that, you can see all the keys are now coming as keys of the JSON are now coming as the column names. And we'll just click on we'll unselect the original column name as prefix icon because we do not want this column name 1 to come as prefix for all of our columns. So once that is done, we can click on OK. As you can see, this data is what we are trying to get from the API. So as you can see, all of the columns here by default as object category. Now what will happen is that if a numerical value is as an object category, API will have issues running aggregations on top of it. So what we'll quickly do is we'll convert them to numericals. And for that, let's just convert them to whole numbers for this demo. So once that is done, we can just close and apply these changes. So now Power BI is applying those changes onto our data, and once that is done, all the columns are appearing here. So let's say I just want to quickly look at the data which is coming as output of these APIs. So what I can do is I can quickly select all these columns. So by default, the visualization which Power BI shows is a table. So this is the tabular structure of all the data which is coming from the APIs. We have application category, the name of the application, version, the usages, average usage, total devices, total sites the applications were seen on, and the total usages of those applications in the given time period. Now this gives us a very high-level overview of the data. Now let's say I want to create a specific report which can tell me that which are all the applications installed, what were their usages, and how many devices and sites they were seen on. So for that, I can select the app name and total usages, total sites, and total devices. And we'll select this graph because we will have multiple values for different ranges, and we want that the aggregations and the numbers really make sense. So this will also help us in specifying a secondary y-axis, which will be the line values option. So what I can do is I can keep total usages as the columns and bring the other two into lines. Okay, so what it has done now is that total usages is coming on the primary y-axis and total sites and devices are coming on the secondary y-axis. Previously, these values were not really making sense in the graph, but now I think it gives a good idea. So as you can see that there's an application business, which we are treating it as the business app, and you can see that it has one of the highest usages, and it is seen on around 150 devices across, let's say, 12 to 15 sites. Now, we still cannot see, I mean, if we hover over it, we see limited data. So for that, what we can do is we can also add the sites and number of devices to the tooltips. So let's say if I hover over this, I can see what is the total usages, total sites, and total devices it is seen. One interesting thing which we can see from this graph is that there's something coming up as golf rival, and it's probably a game. And if we hover over the tooltip, we can see that it has around 10,000 minutes of usages across 10 sites, and it is seen on 231 devices, which could be an indicator that this is something which is not expected, and this game might have been installed in multiple applications, and people are really using that on those. Now, also what can happen is that if a device has multiple applications, there is also an app category which you can replace with the app name, so that if the list is long and it's difficult to read all the application names, you can quickly look at the category and then come back to the table and see that which all applications are there as part of the category. So in the new APIs for applications, what we are trying to bring in new features is we'll try to flag which if there are any differences in the versions of the application. So let's say if application is running on an outdated version and we want to update it, we'll flag those and provide those as part of the APIs. We'll also provide missing an extra application. So if a device is missing any business apps, we'll flag that. And if there are extra non-business apps running on the devices, we'll also flag that. And then we are also trying to bring in some APIs for the ANRs, and these will have a ML algorithm, and the algorithm will tell us that if the number of ANRs are greater than a particular threshold, and that threshold will be derived from the ML algorithm, and this will be available at application, device, and site level. So we'll be able to highlight which particular application is causing more ANRs, and then action can be taken on top of it. So let's say if the customer had rolled out an application and that application had bugs in it, so we will be easily able to identify with this API. So that is it from the demo. Let me know if you have any questions.
Yeah, so that was the demo. Hope it's useful for the audience. The video will be recorded and you can refer back and check for the steps which had been followed. It will be common for most of the APIs. There will be some development work, I mean some modifications which will have to be done for every API, but the process should be more or less similar. Yeah, so this is our developer portal as which was showed by Stacy. So for any references, documentation, code, tutorials, events, please refer that. There are a bunch of videos as well, which will be very helpful for you or any usages of these APIs. Yeah, can we go to the next slide? Yeah, questions any? I think we should be able to take them. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we have a couple. So thank you very much to all our presenters. That was a great presentation. Thank you all very much. So let's jump straight into the questions. So the first one here from Charles, he's asking, what are NFFs?
So yeah, NFFs are it's an abbreviation for no fault found. So what happens is if a device is coming to us for a repair, there will be certain processes which the repairs engineering team will follow, and if they identify that there is no issue detected during that process, that repair gets classified as NFF, no fault found.
Okay, perfect, thank you. So this next question from Mark is around VIQ and Servicenow integration. So if we were to identify a battery that needs to be replaced, can VisibilityIQ interface to Servicenow so that a replacement is ordered?
Yeah, so I mean, that will be a good use case for APIs. So we should be able to use APIs, VisibilityIQ APIs, which can be used in the ServiceNow environment. And I mean, if there is any application which is or any UI which is being developed on ServiceNow, customers should be able to use that. Yeah, I think with APIs it should be possible, but if there are any further questions, do let us know. We'll see if we can help you out.
Okay, perfect. So Mark, if you need any further clarification, please ask another question and we'll get round to it in just a moment. So the next question here from Murdad is asking, how do we define an app not responding?
Okay, yeah, so this happens on the Android level. I may not be able to answer it completely, but it happens on the Android level. We get two status flags. It can be either a device or the system related ANR, or it could be I mean, we get to answer your question in very short. We get it from the Android, and if there are any further questions, I think we should be able to connect to the Android team and get that thing answered.
Yeah, so from my experience with Android, an ANR, an application not responding error, is triggered when the UI thread of an Android app is blocked for too long. So if you're doing some long running task on your main thread on Android and it doesn't complete in time, then you'll get an ANR so that the system can free up resources. Okay, perfect. So the next question here was from Matthew that's been answered already in the chat, but he was curious around our RFID community day. So if that's something that you would like to attend as well, just have a look in the questions box there and you should see the event registration link. So the next question again from Matthew here is, when using the API, are there any levels of authentication needed to associate to the VIQF server?
Yeah, there are two methods of authentication. One of my colleagues had done a video and that is available on developer portal. So there are two methods of authentication. One is full authentication, other one is analytics authentication. So full authentication will be useful when you want your external applications to have to do some modifications on the data side. So that is when full authentication will be used. But for getting data from our servers, analytics authentication should be fine, and that is what I was using in my demo. It's just one API key. You can call multiple times, and in full authentication, there's a refresh token which will have to be created every 60 minutes, and you have to update it every 60 minutes. So there are some more restrictions there, but as part of the analytics API, you should be able to do multiple calls and not worry about refreshing the tokens. And more details for that are documented on I mean, getting the API keys and all, there is a process for that, and it is there as part of almost all the API pages. There's a getting started guide, and then also there is a getting started with the authentication guide. So that should help you out. So yeah, authentication is required. And also on top of that, all our reports will have a mandatory requirement for at least two items, the partner name and the company name, because they help us in associating to a particular customer. And if you specify that, you should be able to access the right data. So these are the three things important.
Okay, great. That was a very detailed answer. Thank you. So next question here from Mark. Can VIQ send an alert if the battery gets above a defined temperature?
I believe that functionality is not there yet. Sharon or someone, please correct me if I'm wrong here. But we will have to think about it and see if that can be implemented.
Okay. Does VIQ have an API that includes the battery temperature? Is that data that can be received?
Temperature, I'm assuming it is part of the smart battery health report. So that will be one report which you will want to check out. Temperature, I believe, should be there. And the documentation for that I mean, every API specification is there on the portal. So you can see what all parameters are available as the response. So you should be, you can check there and get it confirmed if the temperature is available.
Okay, yeah, sounds good. The reason I asked that follow-up was, I guess, you know, if we don't have that functionality to alert based on the battery temperature, I guess it would be fairly straightforward to implement that on the other end, just by monitoring the data yourself. Okay, so moving on, this next question is from Peter. So what is the typical use case you expect an end user creating a Power BI report over data gathered via device health, or can Zebra Partner help with that? So maybe this is a question for Sharon, is it? Are you there, Sharon?
I am here. So right now the expectation is that you have access to the APIs and you can create the integration to Power BI. We are looking to put together some sample codes for you to be able to leverage. Right now we do not have any services that I know of to help you build the integration, but definitely happy to have conversations if that's of interest to you.
Okay, excellent. Thank you very much. So you heard it here first. If you have some more detail or you'd like to discuss that further, then please just get in touch with us and we'll be happy to do that. Okay, so penultimate question here from Mark as well. So can VIQ capture if a device is shut off or is about to be shut off if it gets too hot? Alternatively, can it send an alert if it is about to be shut off? Essentially, the question is, can you be notified of a device shutting down or about to shut down?
So there is a there are some features in development with regards to that. So there's a new feature which will be rolling out. It's still in development. It has some of the functionality which you just mentioned. So it's more around device loss reduction and tracking the device. So that has functionality when the device is idle, not in use. You could be able to send a notifications. So that is something in development. You should be able to see more updates on that in the coming releases.
Okay, perfect. So the last question here. So if anyone else has any follow-up questions, now is your time to get them in. Oh, there we go. So mention it's the last question, a few more fly in. So Matthew is asking, is there a cost to using the API?
I can take that one. Yes, there is a nominal cost. So we do have bundles with the API and the UI or the API standalone, but let's definitely connect on that. Or actually, your account manager probably has information on that too.
Okay, perfect. All right, so 2 more questions here now again. So if you have some questions, we do have some extra time here, so please feel free to put those into the questions box. So Karthik is asking here, can VIQ capture RAM memory consumption for all applications, or are there any limitations here?
The exact details I'm not sure, but we are that was part of the device health phase 2 in one of my slides, where it will be coming as part of Q4 23. We still are, I mean, it's still at a very high level, so I may really not be able to answer it, but that feature is coming, right? RAM per app. But which all apps, there could be some restrictions from Google side, any system app or not. So those things are still, I mean, I may not be able to answer for now because it's still not really under development right now. So yeah.
Okay, perfect. So watch this space. Okay, final question here. So are the APIs that provide data from Android to the VIQ server public?
So these are part of the Zebra data services suite, and it's a special feature, special built-in service which is available only on Zebra devices and not other devices. So it's specific to Zebra devices only.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. Okay, everyone. So I think that's all of the questions for today. Maybe if you just quickly throw one in, we'll get round to it. But if not, if anything comes to mind after the presentation, I know that's always the case with myself. I always have questions after the event finishes. So if that's the case, then make sure to head on over to our developer portal, and you can start a new discussion there on our forums, and I'm sure someone will get back to you. Alternatively, contact us directly on email on developer@zebra.com. So with all that said, there is no more questions come through as far as I can tell. So I will bring this all to a close. Thank you once again to all of our presenters. You did an excellent job. It was a great presentation. Thank you to all of our attendees as well. It's always great to have you here, and we hope to see you again next month. So thanks very much, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your morning, your afternoon, and your evening. Thank you.